So what I'm going to cover in this video is to show you firstly how to enable the rights management features of Office 365, and then I'll show you how to enable them and use those with SharePoint Online. So what I've done here is I've logged into my Office 365 tenant as a global administrator. I'm then going to go to the Office 365 Admin Center. I will basically scroll down until I find the option here for service settings. I'll expand that. In here we'll find an option called Rights Management, which I need to select. Now that will give us a window on the right hand side. We want to select the Manage link to go further into Rights Management. Then when that loads, we'll see that all we need to do to activate Rights Management is to select the Activate button, which we will do here, and we'll just get a confirmation window assuring us that that is what we want to do. It will take a moment or two to complete. You'll see now that our rights management is activated. That's all we basically need to do initially. Now what we should do now is we need to go back to our Office 365 administration, and we need to now pop into our SharePoint Admin Center. So again, we go to the Office 365 Admin Center, we go down to Admin on the left hand side at the bottom, and we select SharePoint to get into the SharePoint Admin Center. Now when that comes up, we need to go into the settings for our SharePoint and basically enable the information rights management component here. Alright, so our SharePoint Admin Center has come up. So if we go into settings on the left hand side here, we'll then see a number of options here on the right. If we scroll down through these options, we'll find towards the bottom there is one here that says Information Rights Management. So all we need to do now is select that option to say using the IRM. So we want to use the Information Rights Management services, and then we simply go OK. That will then update that and make it available across basically all our site collections. Now once that's enabled, we need to go into, for example, a document library, and we'll need to go in there and basically enable the information rights management in that area. So what I'm going to do now is just navigate out to a team site here. We'll find a document library. So standard document library, number of documents in there. We go to library up the top to expose the ribbon menu. We then go to library settings. And when we do so, you'll find that there is an option here under the permissions and management, okay, that says information rights management. Okay, so we'll see that one of the options that we have here is information rights management. So we simply select that. We'll now see that we can turn on the ability to restrict permissions on this library on download. So what we'll do is we'll check that. We'll give this a policy title. So we'll just call this, okay, and so we know what it is. You'll see that if we now select the show options, that we have a number of additional features that we can turn on if we so choose. So again, select the options that you want. Make sure that when you finish, you select the OK button. Now what that will do is that will then apply the information rights management to the documents in this area. Now, because I'm using a tenant that I'm logged into with this workstation, we won't really be able to see the fact of the information rights management preventing me from getting access to documents. But what I've done here is I've logged into a separate tenant. Okay, so I've logged in as a different user than I'm currently using on this workstation. I've navigated to a document library that is protected by information rights management. Now what I'm going to do is, for example, I'm going to select the general index document. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to elect to download that to my local workstation. So again, think of this as a situation where you're sending the file outside the organization or to a user not within the Office 365 tenant that has access to this document. So I'm going to save as. I will put it basically in a directory called IRM, so it's in my download IRM. Okay, so that doesn't take long to download. So you'll see that I now have this one document here that has come from basically a protected area. Now if I try and launch that document, it will then run Word for me, configure my information rights management, but in a moment, what it should do is basically let me know that this document is protected and I don't have the rights to access it, which is what you can see here. So what I've done is downloaded a document as a third party or an unknown user to my workstation, and then what I'm trying to do is open it. So at this stage that is not possible because I have chosen to protect this document area using information rights management. So if we just go in and verify that, go into library, go into library settings, we'll find the information rights management option here, and you'll see that that information rights management option has been enabled and will basically prevent me from downloading that document and sending it to untrusted or unauthorized third-party users. Okay, so we see that we have the information rights management turned on inside this document library that I downloaded my information from, called IRM document. So really it's that simple. So again, in summary, what we did is in Office 365 admin, what we did is we logged in as a global administrator. We went to the Office 365 admin center. We went to have a look at service settings. We then went into the rights management area. We then went to manage, and we then selected to activate the rights management. Once we've done that, we then basically went back to our admin. But in this case, what we did is we went to the SharePoint administration area. So I went to SharePoint. Okay, and when the SharePoint admin area came up, I went to settings for my tenants, and then scrolled down to the bottom here, and I found an area called Information Rights Management. Made sure that was set to use IRM service, and then basically make sure that I do save that. And then once I've done that, I can then go in to my site collection. Okay, so I can pick a document library or an item within my site collection, and then what I can do is go into the area and then go to library and library settings, and we should see an option here called Information Rights Management, which we can then select and then basically turn on the ability to restrict permissions from documents that are downloaded from this library. So that's really how simple and easy it is to turn on Information Rights Management and integrate it with SharePoint document libraries inside Office 365. Thank you very much for watching the video.